Welcome to PokeGoHeroes. My name is Bear, and just like in the anime where the heroes embark on amazing adventures, you are the hero of the story. I'm here as your guide to help you get the most out of this game. We've got one of my personal favorite events, which is the Team Go Rocket event going on right now. This is a Galarian expedition taking over. So let's dive in, and I'm going to show you how to, 1, beat those guys with ease, and then 2, how to get the most out of everything that this event has to offer. Let's do it. Alright. The event has already started in some places around the world, but it starts on Tuesday, October 8th at midnight and goes through Friday, October 11th, 8 p.m. The highlights are the debut of Shadow Heatran. We're going to go through the event, and then I'm going to talk about each of the Pokemon that are new and being offered, and we're going to go through the PvP, so player versus player, and then the player versus environment, PvE, because that's the two things that you do in this game. And I'm going to show you which Shadow Pokemon you should be looking for. So we've got new Shadow Pokemon that are going to debut. We got Caterpie, Mankey, Venipede, Carablast, and Shelmet. The Team Go Rocket leaders are finally switching up, which I'm excited for. We got Beldum, which is super good. Obstagoon, which is also a great one. Ralts, very good. Heatran, which let's dig in and find out. All of these are going to be you'll be pleasantly surprised with them. And then these are the new Pokemon that are debuting as Shadow types, which that's pretty cool. I am especially excited about the Shadow Mankey because today they announced that Mankey is going to get its own Calm Day, and with the right moveset, that thing could really shine. We got 3-star raids. We got Shadow Pinsir, Sableye, and Mawile, and Machop, Grimer, and 1-star raids Execute and Sudowoodo. We've got field research task encounters, Pokemon stop showcases, and of course there's going to be a shop bundle. I usually don't do these, but you know, to each their own. For me, the value's not really in it in terms of Pokecoins to encounters are the things that I care about. So let's go ahead and dive into, let's start off with the big boy Heatran. So in the Great League Shadow Heatran, you're going to have to, one more thing before we do this. You need to, all your Shadow Pokemon that you've saved up to this point, go ahead and TM the move Frustration away. Do it sooner than later, because I have put it off before, and then it slips my mind, and then the event's over, and I have to wait till the next one. So your Shadow Pokemon will know the move Frustration. You can use a TM to remove it, and the thing about Shadow Pokemon in general is that they tend to be glacier. And glacier, if you're not familiar with that term, it's a reference to a glass cannon. And as you would imagine, a glass cannon has a lot of offensive potential, but is not very defensive. And so there's cases and scenarios where you do want a ton of offensive power and you're not worried about defense at all. In particular, in PvP, if you're looking for a sweeper. So in the instance that your opponent has already used all their shields, or if you're just wanting to apply a bunch of pressure up front to force them to use their shields for defensive Pokemon later on, those are both scenarios where a Shadow Pokemon can really shine. Where you don't want a Shadow Pokemon is, in my opinion, in PvP, where your opponent has both shields left, you're down to your last Pokemon, it's a Shadow, and because now you're going to take tons of damage and not be able to do much in return. So that's a high level strategy for what these Pokemon are most used for. So we got Heatran, Great League, and kind of a shrug. Ultra League, rank 121, not bad. But check this out. In the Master League, Shadow Heatran is number 22. And that's pretty incredible, because that means he's 3rd overall, just behind Ho-Oh and Shadow Oh-Oh. And then is Heatran in terms of fire types for the Master Leagues. So this is definitely one that you'll want, in my opinion, to use your Rocket Radar and not stack. If you're not familiar with stacking your radars, what you can do is to, like, let's say you knew that this was not Heatran, this was a Pokemon that you're not interested in, Giovanni's Pokemon. What you can do to stack Rocket Radars is start the quest, but don't go past the first page of the quests. And so in that way, once you go to the next Team Rocket event, if it's something that you wanted to use, you would have the quest line, the research line from the current event, which would then give you that next Pokemon. If that was confusing, All you need to know is that if you don't want Heatran, start the adventure with the Giovanni research. Don't go past the first page. Again, if you don't want Heatran, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but let's just say for some reason you've got a hundo, I don't know, something. Or you have a great Shadow Ho-Oh, so you won't be using Heatran. If that's you, then what you want to do is to start the Giovanni research. Don't go past the first page, and then that way it will apply for the next Giovanni encounter, which will be a couple weeks or a couple months from now. So Heatran's great. Definitely gonna go for it. And then let's go through the Team Rocket here. So, and shoutouts to GoHub for doing this. Obviously, they share the details of the event that they get from Pokemon Go, but the value that we're getting here is we're going to talk about how these Pokemon perform in PvP and PvE. Heatran is top tier in PvE as well as a raid type attacker. So we got Metagross. Metagross is not, Shadow Metagross is not that great in the Great League. Ultra, again, not that great. Master League, though, it's a fantastic steel type. And the Shadow is not as good in this instance, but that's okay, because when you purify a Shadow Pokemon, the odds are greatly increased for getting a hundo. And so you, instead of 1 in 4,096 of getting a hundo in the wild, you're looking at something closer to I did the odds here. It's about 1 in 151 encounters, which is fantastic. That's great because we want Metagross to be a hundo in this instance. So let's talk about Obstagoon. So Obstagoon in the Great League, ranked 267, not that impressive. Ranked 295 in Ultra League, Master League. Still not that great. It's because Counter got nerfed, but I would still go for it and try to get a good PvP roll, because it's just a matter of time until Counter gets buffed and Karate Chop gets nerfed. I would still recommend for all of these trying to get one low attack, high defense, high stamina, because with moveset changes, you'll be happy. I did that with Feraligatr and a long time ago, and then he got buffed this season, and so I was already set up. Versus waiting until something's buffed and then hunting it can be frustrating, especially if you let one slip through your fingers. Ralts. Gardevoir, pretty good in the Master League. A budget fairy type and psychic type. Whatever in the Great League. Yeah, not that amazing in the Great League, not that amazing in Ultra League. But for PvE, I know that it has a Mega Form, which is automatically going to make it a top fairy type, top 5 fairy type, or top 5 psychic type attacker in its Mega Form. So for doing PvE, doing raids, it's one that you'll want as well. Which again, because it's Shadow, you got those boosted hundo odds. So, in my opinion, worth it. Alright, that covers that. And so we got the new Pokemon showing up. We got Mankey, which you already saw me pull that up a little bit. So Annihilate is way down. He was super meta last season, and Annihilate is way down this season, but he can make a comeback, especially with the Calm Day coming up. If they give him Karate Chop, he's back, no doubt. So I think that with the right moveset, you're definitely going to want Annihilate. In my personal opinion is that Ghost, like Pokemon, so Annihilate, are already glassy. They already have that high attack, low defense, and then it's exaggerated by that Shadow buff. So I mean, it's just leaning into it is a smart move in my opinion. So I definitely would recommend going for that. Shadow Butterfree. Let's take a look at this one. In the Great League, rank 968. Not great. Butterfree is not even in the Ultra League. Are you kidding me? Wow, that's painful. Well, I still have a soft spot in my heart for all the Kanto Pokemon, so that'd be worth getting hunting those as well to get that hundo. Roggenrola. Okay. Not great. In the Great League, only 545, which is not great. I'd say anything in the top 150 is viable. In the Ultra League, 279, 352, rank 352 for Shadow. In the Master League, 155, okay. The Shadow is 171. So it could still be worth... there's just too many better rock types. I'm sorry. Sorry, Gigalith. Yeah, it's so far down the thing here. Yeah, it's in the top 15. You could make an argument for it if you like that Pokemon. You could make a substantial argument for using it in the Master League, especially with Meteor Beam. It's Calm Day move. So let's look at Excelgor then. Yeah, and the 900s in the Great League, which who's not super interested in that. 600s in the Ultra. 600s in the Master. Yeah, so that one, if you're wanting to knock off something off your Hundo Dex, then by all means. But in PvP and in PvE, in neither one of those situations is it really going to shine. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Roggenrola is top tier in PvE as a rock type gym attacker. Carablast Shadow. And whenever I use that phrase top tier, I mean in the top 15 for PvE. I'm thinking of a Scavalier. That's what I'm thinking of. $240. I have ran into this thing in the Great League and had it do some damage. 526. Shadow 595. 282 in the Ultra League. Not bad, not bad. And then in the 200s in the Master. So 300s in the Shadow form. So it's up to you. That would be a personal call. I personally will not be using the Stardust or Candy to power it up for PvE or PvP. Pinsir has got that Mega form, so it's the best bug type in the game right now, PvE wise. Shadow Sableye, dude, this one is killer in PvP. Let's see. The Shadow form is even better this season. So Shadow Claw, Foul Play, Power Gem. Yeah, you're going to want to add that one to the roster. This one is definitely worth rating. I'll be doing that one. And then you got the Mawile. Let's see. Mawile. 180 in the Great League. Not even in the Ultra League. Or the Master League it would look like. It's got the unusual Steel and Fairy typing. So it could be... An argument could be made for that in PvP. Because you run into a lot of dragons in PvP, as you would imagine. Yeah, the Shadow version is the one this season that's killer. It's got that Karate Chop move buff that I was talking about earlier in this video. Definitely worth rating. Grimer, I think Muck. I've come across a lot of Mucks. I'd be curious where it ranks. Yeah, 196. And the Great League. Yeah, 232. Oh my gosh, dude. Machamp. Number 19 in the Great League. I need to... Alright, let's go back to Machamp here. So Machamp in the Great League is amazing. 19, rank 19, rank 31 in the Great League, with the Shadow being the better variant. So you definitely want to go for that. Also fantastic in the Ultra League. The Shadow version is rank 23. Purified or non-Shadow is rank 49. And then the Master League is still great. 110, 145. Not the best, but for the great, it's killer. So definitely want to get that. Execute and Sudowoodo, those are personal calls. Neither of those are going to do a whole lot in PvP or PvE, but you know, if you love them, this game's about having fun. So if that's fun for you, do it. So I think that covers everything in a nutshell. The emphasis is to team away frustration, to choose the Pokemon that you want to go after, and go for that hundo, and then, because this is one of the best events to get hundos, and then go for that PvE roll, low attack, high stamina, high defense. I love these events. I usually at least get one hundo, I'd say every other event or so. So enjoy it. Please like and subscribe if you want this kind of content. I also am going to start doing just kind of slice of life, slow pace, coffee and catches. I think it's going to be fun. I got my GoPro charged. It's going to be good. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.